Restaurants and bars closed, non-essential retailers on pause, and a curfew that starts at 8 p.m. There isn't much for Quebecers to go out and do these days. This Montrealer decided on a walk and a relaxing day at home, even though it's a special day.
Today is my birthday and I just wanted to, do a me-only birthday. I'm going to have some good food, I'm going to enjoy, take a bath, read. What else can we do?
This weekend, Quebec Premier François Legault posted a lengthy message about COVID-19 restrictions on social media, telling Quebecers to prepare for announcements this week. The province's nightly curfew was set to last until February 8th, but it's likely to be extended. Last week, Legault said things were improving, but not enough to lift many of the province's restrictions.
We have to be realistic. Most of the measures will continue.
While Legault hasn't said which measures he'll soften, he did write about wanting to give retailers a bit of oxygen. As Quebec and Alberta decide their next steps, Dr. Barry Pecos from the University of Toronto has this warning.
I don't think now is the time to ease the restrictions. Unfortunately, as was mentioned, we not only have a situation where we're still at an uncomfortably high level, 4,000 cases nationally is not a place that we can start going back up from.
The Retail Council of Canada in Quebec expects the industry will be allowed to reopen with added restrictions on hours and capacity. The council has even suggested to the government that people could shop by appointment.
You're going to be able to have a log, a setup where you're going to have to take your appointments, go into the stores. And it's going to be a nice treatment because you're going to have more of a personal service when you go to the store.
Premier Legault said he'd spend the weekend deciding on Quebec's next moves, pointing out that they're hard choices to make. His final call on easing restrictions should be announced on Tuesday. Matt Damour, CBC News, Montreal.
Well, let's bring in infectious disease specialist Dr. Zane Chaglin. Dr. Chaglin, we just heard Alberta will loosen some of its restrictions later on next month. Quebec looking at doing the same. Is this the right time for provinces and territories to be doing that?
I mean, rates are going down. It doesn't mean that everything needs to open up, but there are certainly a spectrum of different industries and commercial-facing establishments that could likely be opened with precautions in mind. You have to keep limits small and maybe a couple of people in the store. You want to encourage settings where masking is normal. For things like restaurants, you really want to limit it to households if you're expecting people to stay within their households. And you want to make sure you have the public health capacity to contact trace appropriately, to be able to function in society while maintaining schools as well as maintaining some of these businesses. But at the same time, there are ways to make these businesses work. And I think especially some of these low-risk industries, there is a role to consider opening them, knowing that we have precautions and ways to prevent infection.
And is there a particular number or trend line that you look for before you feel that restrictions could be eased?
Yeah, I think you want to see a reproductive rate that's been consistently under 1. You want to see that healthcare capacity is not on the brink. And you want to see things like schools that are functioning adequately without necessarily changing the game. I think if you have all three of those, then you can make some considerations for low-risk industries to open up.
All right, Dr. Chaglin, we'll see you later in the hour.
No problem.